India's Foreign Secretary Bikram Misri is coming to Nepal on a 2-day visit. The Foreign Ministry has described this visit as a regular one, but I think there is more to this visit than meets the eye. Let's read the context of this visit. This visit comes at a time when Bangladesh is burning, literally. The Prime Minister of that country, Sheikh Hasina Wajid, had to flee the country in the wake of a massive unrest, a massive protest. Such was the situation that she even did not get the time to address the nation. She had to literally flee the country to just fearing for her life. That was the situation. What was this protest about? This protest, per reports, was against the job quotas. The job quotas, what are they? After India, after Bangladesh's war of independence against Pakistan, after that war succeeded, after that war became successful under the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Mujibur Rahman is the father of the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina Wajid. After the success of that independence struggle, the Bangladeshi government allocated quotas, job quotas, quotas in government jobs. It allocated 30% of government jobs to the war veterans. In the course of time, that those quotas were extended to their children, to the war veterans' children, and then to the war veterans' grandchildren. Now the protests they were demanding that those quotas be done away with because like it has been quite some time. Bangladesh, it's a huge economy. It has a population of 17 crore. The land size is almost the size of Nepal. It is a robust economy. It up till now, up till a few weeks ago, it was one of the fastest growing economies in the world. It was even surpassing India. It is a garment powerhouse. It was doing quite well until a few weeks ago, but the protest, this protest worsened. It has worsened things in that country from from one of the fastest growing economies in the world to one of the most restive countries in the world. That is what Bangladesh has become. In the part of it is because there was a brutal suppression, a brutal crackdown on the protests. That's why Sheikh Hasina Wajid, per reports, had to flee the country. She did not bother to just strike peace with those protesters. She did not invite them for talks or something like that. Instead, she resorted to a brutal crackdown on dissent, and that's why this only fomented the protests, and she had to leave the country without even getting a chance, without even getting an opportunity to address the country, to seek to placate those angry people. So this visit should be read in that context also. In the wake of that protest, she fled. Sheikh Hasina Wajid fled the country. Uh, Now she is seeking refuge in India. She has been staying in India, and there are reports that several countries have refused to just provide asylum to her because she stands accused of grave human rights violations. If the past is any guide in the case of Nepal, uh, unrest in the neighborhood has always affected Nepal the hardest because it is one of the most ill prepared and ill guarded countries in the neighborhood. So, whenever there is unrest in the neighborhood, displaced populations seek to enter Nepal. They seek refuge in Nepal. That is what happened when uh, the unrest was at its peak in Myanmar. Nepal has been providing for the displaced Rohingyas, though it does not have a land border with Myanmar. These displaced populations entered into Nepal through Indian territories. They entered into Nepal through a porous border, while the Indian security apparatuses most probably looked the other way. The same happened when the Taliban took over in Afghanistan. Afghani nationals have also been uh, taking refuge in Nepal, and whenever the Thimphu regime launched a crackdown on its own people, Nepali speaking Bhutanese citizens who are demanding human rights and democracy, it unleashed its brutality. It committed atrocities against these populations and dropped them away from its territories. These people, in turn, landed in India, which India is the world's largest democracy. This largest democracy pushed these populations, the Lotsampas, the Nepali speaking uh, people who are Bhutanese citizens, the Indian regime also pushed them into Nepali territories through that porous border. So, whenever there is a crisis, whenever there is unrest in the neighborhood, Nepal always finds itself at the receiving end. It's a given that the unfolding crisis in Bangladesh will be discussed in Indian Foreign Secretary Bikram Misri's engagements with Nepali officials. Remember, this powerful Indian official is scheduled to just call on the president, the prime minister, the foreign minister, and his counterpart, Seva Lamsal. Nepal's officialdom has described it as a customary visit. It has described Misri's visit to Nepal as a regular visit, but there is more to this visit than meets the eye. It has become a tradition of the Nepali officialdom to keep people in the dark about such engagements. What transpired during such visits, one gets to know maybe after 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years, but it's a given that very important matters will be discussed during the Indian Foreign Secretary Misri's visit to Nepal. It is a given that the Bangladesh crisis will also figure in those engagements in those talks, but as is customary, the Nepali officialdom just prefers to keep these things under wraps. In the course of time, these things unravel, but the damage by then is already done. So I request you to just watch this visit also carefully, to monitor the situation in Nepal, because it will affect any deal, any understanding will is bound to affect Nepal and the Nepalese for generations to come. I request you to subscribe to this channel, comment on our presentation, and press that like button. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.